Tower Defense Simulator currently has over 200 unique enemies spread across 12 different game modes. So I thought it would be interesting to attempt to defeat them all. I might be a little stupid. It's been a while since I've sat down and seriously grinded some TDS, so with this video I want to really lock in and kinda get back on my game, so to speak. Now, I am very smart, so I decided to start off on the easy end of things. These 6 are TDS's, so to say, core game modes. They don't have any crazy gimmicks, they don't have many super powerful zombies or anything, and that's especially true of these first 3 difficulties. Easy, casual, and intermediate are all complete free though, assuming you bring a relatively strong loadout. I'm level 300, I own every tower, I've played this game for years, I should never be losing on these difficulties. And I mean, yeah, you know, they were kind of a walk in the park. I wrote a walk in the park in the script. Easy mode was, as you'd expect, very easy. My teammate and I took out the brute boss with little trouble. Bumping the challenge level up by 1 stage doesn't do much. The Gravedigger boss is still very easy. Intermediate is the first difficulty to introduce some themed zombies, most of whom are these yucky looking failed experiments. And these mobs do have some special attributes such as health regeneration or slime spawning upon death, and traits in that vein are what do make certain zombies extremely annoying, but you know, it was still intermediate mode. My team and I easily cleared the final boss. Patient Zero is not very dangerous, although he does have some funny animations. Next in the hierarchy is Molten Mode, and this is where things start to get, you know, slightly real. This difficulty's entire structure was actually overhauled about a year ago. All the enemies and bosses got remade and juiced up. It went from kind of a joke of a game mode, which was essentially always a free win, to something more complex. I wasn't quite sure what to expect going into this, and my team's choice of map here did leave me a little worried. This map is not great for ground units at all. It's a good thing I only brought ground units. A teammate and I had both brought the Golden Crook Boss Tower, which was enough early defense to get us to wave 8, where the first mini-boss, the Elite Abnormal, spawned. I want to repeat, the Elite Abnormal enemy spawns on wave 8. The Elite Abnormal.
Wait, is that not normal, boss?
Hey, that's what? Bro, that's not what he said. The subtitles, they got the subtitles wrong, dude. That was the most dramatic moment of the run, as my initial reservations were proved unfounded. My team and I had enough sauced up towers between us to still easily cruise to the final wave. And despite its pretty clean looking redesign, this new version of the Molten Boss has actually grown on me somewhat. Its 180,000 health was not enough to withstand our stacked offense. And as the boss's death animation played, GG. GG, I forgot. Wait, we can communicate with stickers, bro. What's the keybind? Yeah, so Roblox rolled out that update recently, which restricted chat for everyone, and obviously it's very dumb. It hurts games like TDS, which, especially for some of the tougher challenges, greatly benefit from communication between players. I guess the upside is that now there's more of a purpose to TDS's stickers, which before they were nothing, but now maybe they can actually be used to strategize in some kind of way. In fact, stickers came into play during my very next round. Alright, Fallen I'm a little nervous about. I have not lost yet, but I think this might be the one that gets me. Because I think the new version of Fallen is pretty tough. In the matchmaking intermission, we all picked Crossroads, which is a very player-sided map. But checking the others' loadouts... Oh god, these loadouts are not the best at all. This dude doesn't even have a 5th tower. I'm gonna need to farm like my life depends on it. I brought some of my strongest towers, but they were all very expensive. My teammates got a brawler and a regular crook boss early on, which thankfully allowed me to get started on my money making, and I got an engineer to help out when the going got tougher. We weren't exactly lighting it up, but we were handling the fallen zombies. I continued to farm and supplement our defenses with engineers throughout the early game, and some golden minigunners from one of my teammates helped us to make it past the fallen necromancer of wave 20. I was concerned about DPS though. One of my teammates had a tower which could really help us, but he wasn't placing it. We could really use a commander right now, but there's no way for me to communicate that to my teammate who has it. Do I have a commander sticker? Angry Pumpkin, maybe? Maybe if I spam this enough, they'll get the message. He did not. As we headed into the 30s, my team and I all maxed out our farms, and with the money pouring in, we were surviving. Commander's dialogue was becoming increasingly weirder the deeper we progressed. Get ready for a tough and admittingly wacky fight. Admittingly, it's admittedly. All three of my DPS units had the ability to damage aerial zombies, so the flying Fallen Angel mini-boss on wave 33 was no problem. The Fallen Honor Guard mini-boss, which spawned 2 waves later, did leave me feeling a bit worried with how far it pushed. And with only 5 waves to go until the final boss, we really could have used a commander to buff everything's fire rate and give us that little extra bit of juice. But the only party member who had the unit still had not placed it. This dude needs to place his commander, bro. Golden Mine YT. Then I had a very good idea. Okay, he has a TDX video here. Let me leave a quick comment. I left a little comment there. Hopefully he sees that and places the commander. I don't think he ever saw my comment. But hey, by the time the final wave rolled around, he did actually get a commander down. Maybe some of my brain waves got through to him. So that was, that was a little bit of a relief, as like the Molten boss, the Fallen King recently received a complete redesign along with his respective game mode. When I'm saying recently, this was all like a year ago. It's recent to me, okay? But although he has more threatening attacks and a beefed up health bar, he is still not on the level of the game's other major bosses. The commander's passive buff gave us the edge, and we triumphed. Man, the Fallen King, guess you could say kinda fell off, huh? So that is 5 bosses and about 70 regular enemies defeated, but this is where things start to get realer. In addition to the special modes with all of their unique mobs, there was one more difficulty in the standard progression set. I have actually never played the Frost mode. I didn't realize I just took the boss from that one Christmas event and just made a whole mode for it. That's kind of wild. Queuing up, I pulled some very high level party members here. Me and one other teammate began to farm, while the others got some early defense to fend off the icy zombies. This game mode is actually an adapted version of what was the holiday event back in 2024. Instead of entirely removing the event's content as is typical, the developers decided to remix it into a standard game mode. They kinda did this with the remakes of the other difficulties as well. They inserted certain former event zombies which could passably fit the mode's theming to spice things up a bit, but Frost mode is composed entirely of the event zombies. Got a Chihuahua here? Bro, this mode is wild. Again, I've never played this mode before in my life, so this is all brand new to me. I did bring the Golden Pyromancer here, because I feel like that's surely gotta be pretty good against all the ice enemies, right? I got that Golden Pyromancer while I continued to farm for money, and on wave 7, the first mini-boss appeared. The deadly Snow Minion. Wait, this guy's kinda cute. Hold up. We almost died to them. The early game was surprisingly rough. Even with a pack of engineers and crowd control in the form of Mortar and Pyromancer, the zombies were pushing. And the next mini-bosses, the Frost Hunter and Acolyte, both tested us. I had to put off my farming to invest in defense like a chud, but after passing into the 20s, things stabilized. Look at the way he walks. Why does he walk like that? Okay, we're 24 waves in, honestly, like, things started off pretty scary, but we've kind of been coasting for a bit. It hasn't been too bad. I maxed out my last farm the next wave, and began pouring my money into armaments. Uh-oh, wait, hold up, big boy, hold up, wait, whoa. Oh. Okay, slow down, that was scary. He was steaming through there like a Mario Kart player. As we transitioned towards the late game, the zombies' power level amped up as well. I mean, we were getting enemies with this many modifiers on them out there. Like, what is this? But with everyone's farms maxed out and the upgrades flowing in, things never got too scary. Until wave 35, that is. A pair of mini-bosses spawn here, in the Frost Hero, oh my god, it's a callback, and Necromancer. And this pair was fat in terms of health. Okay, this is a little spooky, I will admit. This is not fantastic here. We still got him. It was a smooth ride from there to wave 40, and after selling my farms, I started tryharding. We place some bait towers, perhaps, to redirect the attacks. Yes. Alright, the Frost Spirit. 750k? That's a good amount of health. I'm gonna pop my power-up flags here to give us some extra juice, because I think we're gonna need it. Obviously, that's a pretty massive jump in HP compared to the Fallen King, and it was only thanks to our stacked tower loadouts that we had any chance here. I had already maxed out all of my engineers, I think. It gets to a point where it's really difficult to tell with the engineer tower specifically, because, you know, the tower spawns the little sentries, and the little sentries have their own models, and they have the shields and their timer UI, and like, I don't know, bro. You tell me if all my engineers are fully upgraded. They're somewhere in the sludge here. I'm pretty sure they were. I think I got them all. I used what money I had left to get some rangers for a little more DPS. They helped contribute to the dent we were making in the Frost Spirit's health bar. But as it weakened, it began to unleash some special attacks. Uh-oh. What is he doing? What is he doing? Oh my god, he got my frame rate. Every TDS boss with 5 different stun every tower attacks just makes me appreciate cliff units all the more. Like, there's a reason I'm always bringing Ranger to the hard game modes. That stun immunity is goated. Holy moly. Bro, what? That seems unfair. The Frost Spirit stun barrage did hurt our damage output, but even so. Oh, we got him. We got this guy. Let's go. With plenty of track to spare, we finished off the Frost Spirit. This was my first ever Frost Mode win, and I guess you could say this game mode is pretty cool. So, that is all of the regular game modes down, but that is far from every zombie defeated. There were still 5 special modes I had yet to face. So next I decided to go for the limited time event which was running as of the recording of this video. The Narrator's Final Act game mode. There are 2 versions of this mode. I have played hard mode. It didn't go very well. No. I think I'll try easy mode. Let me do quad. Being an event, this difficulty naturally features a full suite of unique zombies, but the 2 difficulties here share the same enemy pool, so for the purpose of this video I opted for the more forgiving route. You gotta work smarter, not harder, right? The trade-off of playing on easy mode was that my teammates were a lot less experienced and thus had some weaker towers. I'm not loving the looks of this, to be honest with you, but despite early hiccups, we solidified our defense during the following wave. You'll notice in a lot of this footage that there are quite a few dialogue boxes, or rather there's almost always a dialogue box on screen. Other modes have these as well, of course. I already showed a few clips of Commander's dialogue in this video, but this is a modern TDS event, which means it's continuing TDS's modern day story arc. Which means alongside some cutscenes, which are very well done, there's a lot of these dialogue boxes with a lot of expository dialogue. And, my thoughts on the story here. The story is very good. There's a plot point about a hamburger. I think that was important. Anyways, the reason the oration is coming from Narrator rather than the Commander is that Narrator himself is the final boss of this mode. It's kind of like a whole meta thing here. He's hosting a play which we the player are participating in. The enemies here take the forms of actors, stuntmen doubles, stage lights, etc. This whole concept is a throwback to 2023's Halloween event, the Lunar Overture. It's paying homage, so to speak, to a lot of ideas from that era. The map's special gimmick here is the same as Lunar Overture. The terrain itself switches phases the deeper you get into the mode. Except unlike 2023, the pathing and placement options are all the same, so it doesn't actually make things any harder, it's just like a visual thing. But I wasn't complaining about that, because we were starting to struggle as it was. Oh, I see, we're about to lose. Okay, Molten Monster, use a Molten Monster. This will save us. Wait. Yeah, my epic overpowered monster power-up spawned on the wrong branch of the path. Okay, use the ducky. Use the egg. Use the egg. I think we lived. One of my teammates had a similar idea. They used their own Molten Monster power-up, and we got out of that jam. I placed a couple jesters to help shore things up with their confusion bombs, which are nice for kind of stalling enemies, turning them back a little bit. And I invested the rest of my money into mortars and engineers, and I got Ranger. That was enough to get us to the second stage transition of Wave 20. Again, it doesn't really make things any harder, so it's just kind of like a cool little animation, but I like it, it's cool. 5 waves later, a mini-boss appeared, the Producer, whose form here I think is supposed to be like an effigy of Narrator's dead wife, or something like that. I kinda tapped out from the story around the time we got to hamburgers. Aw, she's so bouncy. Why do we have to kill her? That's so cruel. This mode is shorter than most, featuring only 30 waves, but reaching that final wave was... These guys are going to ham on us. No, little low. Oh god, send out the duckies, bro, send out the duckies. I can't use my nuke yet, we might need it for the last wave. But this is getting a little hairy here. I was thankfully able to preserve my nuke power-up as we began wave 30. The Narrator appeared as the final boss, flanked by 2 large hands sporting 360,000 HP. So I decided to put my power-up to use. It's time to drop a nuke on the Narrator. This is for science. What happens when you nuke the Narrator? I'm not sure why I said that, like I was making a YouTube short. Obviously, nothing special happened. It's not like anything would there. I was on some BS, but anyway, the Narrator is a tough boss with some powerful attacks. And my personal capacity to fight back was unexpectedly limited. Unfortunately, because I used the free camera during a cutscene, my camera is stuck in this angle, which makes this kind of lame. I can't get up close to him. The Narrator began charging up its ultimate attack, which directly damages the base itself. The only way to stop this attack is to stun the boss with the spotlights stationed around the map. Oh, the spotlights! Wait, it's like Lunar Overture, bro. Spotlights are another reimagined feature originating from the 2023 event. Fortunately, the dev team coded them a bit better this time around. My teammate and I were able to aim the lights on the Narrator to block his attack, is what I wish I could say, but my camera was still stuck, so we actually failed that. We took a direct hit to our dome. But, this is the benefit of playing on easy mode. We were able to deal enough damage with our towers to actually kill the boss. We called curtains on the Narrator. That's some showbiz talk. A little post-match cutscene plays after triumphing this mode. I thought it was kind of cute how the narrator joins up with the TDS gang, that's fun. I'm sure we'll continue to get a ton of fan art of him over the years. Wait, I didn't get the Forsaken skin, no! But that's the event done, which left the last 4 evergreen game modes. And I decided to start with the easiest one in Pizza Party. I brought an unorthodox loadout to this match. It was a bad loadout. I used an executioner to help my team defend early on, and I farmed for a bag. But as we progressed through the mode, I slowly came to realize that Pizza Party's enemy structure had changed since I last played. Like with the regular game modes, enemies from an old event had been supplanted into Pizza Party, making things notably tougher. Holy moly, bro. Wait, what? Why are these guys so fast? Hold up. Hold up. Wait, we're low-key about to lose. Who is Cobalt Guard? This guy was never in Pizza Party. With the Cobalt Guard zombie about to end our run, I had to use a power-up to save us. So we're gonna live, but I did burn my most powerful power-up on that, so... Yikes. This is the same power-up I kinda wasted back in the Narrator's event. I didn't mention it much, but it's like really dumb. It is so overpowered. You can only use 1 per round, but even so. The Molten Monster alone carried us to wave 30, where the Puppet Minigunner mini-boss... He got goobed in 1 hit. This power-up is like ridiculous. I don't know why they even allow this. This just feels like straight up cheating. Like it feels like we're hacking the game with this. The power-up eventually expired, but we'd been able to beef up our defense while it ran rampant, and we held our heads above water during the late game. More mini-bosses popped out, including the Executioner plushie and the Reaper. I actually like Reaper a lot, probably one of my favorite TDS enemies. But my team and I did make it to the final wave, where, again, something felt different. Did they give him more HP? Did he always have 600k? I feel like he didn't. Maybe I'm wrong. He did always have that ability. This happened a while ago, but yeah, they did buff Walks the Fox. Good for him. Even so, Walks has always been the easiest of the special mode bosses. He has his funny abilities, his jump scare, his range reduction, which is actually very annoying. But the Pizza Party map is pretty player-sided, unlike something like Badlands. And Walks doesn't have a super fat entourage of damage sponges, unlike something like Polluted Wastelands. We were making good progress, and... He's just spewing birthday cakes, bro. This is just slightly worrying, but only slightly. I think we got this. Oh yeah, we got it. There we go. It was a bit tougher than I'd anticipated, I won't lie, but caught the dub. However, Pizza Party was not the only special game mode to have been reworked. And in fact, of the 3, as I soon discovered, it's actually the least changed. When I went over to play Badlands next, I loaded into the match, and to my puzzlement, I saw a wave counter which said 30. I was like, huh? I assume most people watching know, but all of the special modes traditionally featured 40 waves, and lopping 10 off seemed like it would surely only make things harder, since you get much less time to farm and build up your defense before the boss. And yeah, that seemed to be pretty true. This round was absolutely brutal. I'd gone back to my try-hard loadout, my teammates all had pretty good towers, but even so, the compressed wave structure meant we were facing tougher enemies much earlier, and like Pizza Party, Badlands' enemy pool had also been bolstered with former event mode zombies. Combine that with the fact that 3 times as many were spawning thanks to the map's layout, and... oh no. I had to pop power-ups just to keep us afloat. Without them, we would have died for sure. I used 1 fire rate flag, then another, and then another, and then I had to use my Molten Monster, and then on wave 28, with the cowboy zombies marching up to our base, I had to use my last resort and drop a nuke, which ended the wave, but left me with exactly 0 power-ups, and our team with not much chance of winning. On wave 30, the Gunslinger boss spawned. This dude's always been a bit of a bastard. The Badlands map looks big, but The boss always spawns in the middle lane, and it always beelines straight for the base. You have much less time to kill the boss than you think, and it's made even tougher by the cavalry which pour out of the left and right sides of the mountain. By the time we took out the last of them, the boss was already halfway home with the majority of its health left. My team and I really tried here. We moved towers, we used abilities. My teammates used some power-ups which didn't do much. But the bottom line was, we just didn't have the damage. We literally just did not. All I could really do was spam the angry pumpkin sticker in furious rage. And I smashed my keyboard. But then... What? Oh my god, why did he wait? The boss stopped millimeters away from our base to use an attack, and from the top turnbuckle, our teammate Ryan dropped a nuke out of nowhere, which did just enough damage to kill the boss and clutch up the win. I know some people are gonna be like, actually, he should have used the nuke at the start of the wave, because it would have been a lot more effective. It would have hit all the other zombies, which is true, but nukes do not grow in trees, bro. These power-ups, I get it, right? They take a lot to get. You don't want to use one if you don't have to. And doing it the way he did was way cooler anyways, so like, whatever. I'm still not over that Badlands game, bro. That saving the nuke till the end was a boss move. I really respect that. Laudable. But now we got one more left. I waited to do Polluted Wastelands after the others because it's always been the hardest of the special modes. Even so, I was not prepared for what I saw loading into my first match. Wait, you can't use power-ups in Polluted Wastelands? Bro. Below natural. What are we doing? Also, we just made 2 snowman kiss. I would understand more if power-ups were banned across all of the special modes. Like, as demonstrated in those prior 2 matches I played, they are mega unbalanced. But the fact that only Polluted Wastelands prohibits them feels kind of strange. Even more surprising than that, though, was... excuse me? 25 waves. 25. 25? Are we sure you didn't miss a digit there? How do you cut 15 waves out of this mode and not have it be like insanely hard? Again, like with Badlands, I was expecting a 40 wave structure here. 25 was like, whoa. You really have to adjust your approach when there's so much less time to build your defense. You know, you got the Amalgamation spawning on wave 15, the Abomination spawning on wave 20. The Abomination was a problem. Wait, this guy comes back to life, I'm pretty sure. He's gonna revive and... Wait, we're about to lose. He's gonna come back to life. He's gonna come back to life. What do we do? Yeah, this zombie's gimmick is that it revives after its initial death, akin to a Souls-like boss. What fun. We're dead. He's gonna come back. And we have no defense back here. Well, there it goes. 25 waves, 25 waves. We're getting Abominations on wave 20. I was more prepared on this second attempt. My teammates had brought unit spawning towers, which are pretty good on this map with its long looping track, and I had dropped Pursuit for Pyromancer in my own loadout, since this mode is packed with enemies with damage reduction attributes, which the Pyro can counteract with defense melting. Our power level overall was marginally higher, and when we made wave 20, we killed the Abomination much earlier, which meant that its revived form... I think we're good though. I think we're good. We are. But not by a whole lot. The benefit of facing strong zombies is that they generate a ton of money, and by the time wave 25 rolled around, I had actually earned enough to be able to max everything out, and I was kind of regretting not bringing more DPS, because I wasn't sure if what we had would be enough. Now the nuclear monster has always, and probably will always be, a bit of a nightmare boss. He's a tough cookie. But we do have like about 1 billion rangers, and we also got elf camp, which should help us deal with the stuns. I don't know. The most annoying aspect of this wave is just how many zombies besides the boss there are. They sponge up so much damage, and a lot of them have abilities of their own. And even when you finally get rid of them all... Okay, I think that's everything dead except the boss. Oh, he summoned. Why did he summon, bro? The nuclear monster can just summon even more. Although sometimes that might be preferable to his other attacks, as he can stun all your towers, he can nerf their range, he can do a lot. By the time the boss entered the third and final loop of the path, we had only gotten through about half of his health bar. This is just impossible. How are we supposed to win this? 25 waves. 25 waves, mind you. Yeah, that seems fair, bro. Yeah, just stun all our towers at once. My teammates brought accelerators. I think that was the wrong call here. I think you need like full engineers. You need, or like medic. At least you need medic if you're not doing that, because we just have no resistance to the stun. I tried moving my towers as the boss crept towards our base, but I don't think we can do it. I really don't. I think we don't quite have enough. We're so close, but it's just not enough. I have to move my DJ over here. Get the red. No, dude. Ugh. We were so close, but the nuclear monster killed us with 77,000 health remaining. I had mentioned how my team's accelerators weren't all that effective because of the stun spam, but I also realized I'd made a mistake with my own loadout. Okay, that did teach me that I should not bring farm though. Farm is totally useless because once you get to the late game, that's just a tower slot I need for DPS. So I'll drop farm and get something which can provide more DPS, and then that should be enough to get a win. Farm is nice for the early game, but if you can survive past like, I don't know, wave 20, maybe even earlier, you start making so much money from the enemies themselves that farm becomes entirely redundant. I replaced it with Pursuit in my next match, a stun immune tower which I thought would help out a lot against the boss. And it did. Oh, we got him. Wait, I got his logbook. That's like a rare drop. Did not play much differently, but just having the Pursuit there instead of the useless farm, that chipped in a lot of extra damage. I got an achievement for this, which was cool, and I was kind of surprised that in addition to the other rewards, I received 125 gems for the win. I hadn't realized that they added gems as a payout for Polluted, but hey, I like that. Any method of gaining gems outside of playing hardcore is cool, bro. Hardcore sucks. So that was the last special game mode, which just left a few unique cases I'll get to, and the last proper game mode. Hardcore mode. It sucks. This mode is extremely outdated compared to every other difficulty. The zombie designs are quite cruddy compared to what we get in the newer game modes, and the gameplay itself is hardly fun. The original selling point for hardcore was its challenging nature, but over the years, more and more powerful towers have been introduced, and hardcore mode doesn't really hold up. The wave structure hasn't been touched in almost 4 years. The difficulty hasn't been adjusted to account for the new, stronger towers. Most of the mode's remaining challenge stems purely from the coordination needed to survive the early game. Because, you know, the worst part of hardcore, or I guess like the most challenging aspect, is that towers and upgrades all cost 50% more than ordinary. Which feels just terrible to play. And it has this weird effect on the gameplay where, like, honestly, the early game is a lot tougher than the late stages of the mode. Because, like, for the first half of hardcore, you need early DPS for the abnormals and hefties, hidden detection for the invisibles, flying detection for the balloons, lead detection for the leads, a number of upgraded towers for the mega slow, and probably the toughest wave of the entire game mode, maybe discounting the final wave, is wave 25. Because 3 shadow bosses spawn on this wave, and you need a lot of hidden detection for that. My first hardcore attempt, I ended up losing on this wave, as my team and I did not have enough hidden detection, or DPS in general. But again, this is like the hardest wave in the entire mode pretty much, and it's wave 25. So when on my next attempt, my new teammates and I were able to kill the shadow bosses and make it to 26, I kind of felt like we already had the win in the bag. The following 10 or so waves are really easy, and from what I remembered, the next hurdle wasn't until the Gravedigger spawned in wave 35. Or, that was what I thought, at least, but the mini-boss did not spawn in wave 35. Did they change hardcore? Shouldn't Gravedigger have already come out by this point? Whatever, bro. You only live once. I'll max DJ. Oh, there's Gravedigger. He's 36. How odd. Maybe I shouldn't have maxed my DJ with all of my money then. Shoot. Yeah, I misremembered. The Gravedigger actually spawns on wave 36, so that wasn't the most ideal time to drop 30k on a support tower, but... Our DPS was adequate, but not exactly impressive. The Gravedigger was making some headway. I don't know. Oh, if we can just survive this one wave, bro. If we can survive this, please do not summon now. Please don't summon. Please. Gravedigger, I'm asking you. Man the undead corpse. Please do not summon with your last little bit of health, bro. Okay, that's actually fine. I thought you would summon something scary, but that was actually very chill. Taking down the mini-boss generates a lot of money, and this set us up comfortably for the following waves. Again, like I mentioned earlier, the monetary inflation, which is so constricting throughout the early game, ceases to really matter by the time you start hitting the late game mini-bosses, because you just get so much money. By the time the Molten boss spawned on wave 44, I feel like if my memories of solo hardcore are correct, this should be easier than the Gravedigger was. We should have enough defense now that this guy dies pretty easily. I switched my DJ from the green economy track to the red damaged track, something I'd been doing on and off throughout the run, but that wasn't even necessary. Yeah. This dude goes down super easily. Alright, I can switch to the green track, bro. That's how little I care. My dog. The Molten boss provided us with another big payday, and over the following couple of waves, I was able to fully upgrade all of my engineers and all of my rangers. Going into wave 50, I sold off my farms and started maxing out pursuits. Despite what I said about this mode's difficulty, the final boss of hardcore, the Void Reaver, is a challenging foe. He has 1.2 million health, a ton of abilities, and of course he spawns alongside about 50 other lesser zombies. Ah, the Vindicators, bro. Dude, these guys are like Simon and Garfunkel. I guess I don't know if farm can even be used as a bait tower. I don't know if they go for it, but I guess I'll try. It took a while to mop up all the little dudes, and by the time we started focusing fire on the Void Reaver, it had made decent progress. This is not looking great. I feel like Accelerator is just so bad in hardcore, because it gets stunned for life, unless you have Medic. We had powerful towers, yeah, but no one had brought Medic, so that was a bit of an L. I wasn't sure if we would be able to pull this off. I have nothing else I could do. I guess I should have brought different towers, because I'm missing out on 6 placements here. Oh man, bro. Wait, oh, I forgot I can do that. That's low-key scary. That's like a jump scare. Well, he's in his mad phase, but I feel like we're low-key about to get mad too, because I feel like we're about to lose. We're not doing a whole lot of damage. Looking at how much track is left, you'd think the win is assured, but when the Void Reaver falls under 240,000 health, it transitions phases and begins to move significantly faster. Oh, I don't think we're gonna make it, dude. I don't think we're gonna make it. Move all my pursuits over here. Move my ranger over here. Move my engineer. Move this engineer. Oh, we got it. Okay. That was scary. I will not lie. Went down to 1 HP. He was making a break for it, but we got it. That took 48 minutes, by the way. That's another reason hardcore sucks. Each match takes so long. But that is every game mode beaten, although that is technically not quite every zombie killed. There are like 2 asterisks there. There is one other boss I hadn't fought yet. The Champion Templar. This enemy is unique in that it doesn't really have a set game mode built around it. It shows up at the end of PvP matches and at the end of all the various gimmick challenge modes, which otherwise don't feature any unique zombies, so I didn't have to do them for this video, thank goodness. To scratch the Champion Templar off the list, I just hopped in a duo PvP match, messed around for the first 29 waves, not sending too many zombies to make sure our opponents wouldn't die before the boss spawned, and when the Champion Templar did appear on wave 30, my teammate and I successfully took them out. And then we got the dub for good measure. Come on now. Everyone in the lobby was like rank 1. But that is every zombie currently in the game defeated. I did say there were 2 asterisks. If you fork over $100 for the admin mode game pass, you can spawn certain zombies which have been removed from the regular game, and you can play a normally inaccessible difficulty in Golden Mode. This game mode was removed from the game all the way back in 2020 for being very lame, I think was the reasoning. I played back when Golden Mode was in the game, but it wasn't anything that special. It was kind of the awkward middle child of game modes. It wasn't easy enough to serve as a mindless coin grind like Molten Mode, but it wasn't difficult enough to be worth running challenges on, like Fallen Mode. Golden Mode's lack of identity wasn't helped by the fact that it only housed 4 unique zombies, including the final boss, and their only gimmick was that they didn't take damage from explosions. Which in practice just meant you had a few less towers you could reasonably bring to the mode because they would suck and do nothing. So like, okay, that's cool I guess. The developers added Golden Mode back to the game through the admin panel just as like a little nostalgia thing. It's not a proper game mode. You don't get any rewards for beating it, and obviously the balancing and everything is all out of whack, but for the sake of thoroughness, I went ahead and soloed the mode, using engineers and rangers to chew through everything, including the final boss, the Golden Titan. Yeah, I told you, it's kinda lame. And that is officially every zombie beaten. Okay, third asterisk. There are other enemies which are no longer in the game, which you could technically spawn via the admin panel if you had collected their logbooks during their respective limited time events, but I did not get all those logbooks, so I can't. You can't play the old game modes either, so it would just be like spawning each enemy individually and just killing them with cheated in money via the admin panel. It's stupid, bro, it's stupid. The goal of this video was mainly just to beat all the game modes again and, have some funny moments along the way. Subscribe and leave a like if you want me to post more TDS, because I know it's been a while. I have not really posted a real TDS video like this in quite some time, so I also got some battle pass codes for this event. I kind of forgot, but here you go. If you're watching this early, you might be able to redeem these and get the premium battle pass, like Fortnite. If you're watching this like a day after, then they're probably gone, but you could have got them if you hit the bell notification and watched this video early. Okay, but like, why did they add a hamburger?